Hi. Recording at night is never a good thing. Not enough light and all of that kind of stuff. But to be honest, I'm in a hotel room that faces another lot of hotel rooms. So recording at night isn't that much different to my daytime. I am in Sydney, Australia. I arrived here 6 days ago from Seattle, and I am in quarantine for 14 24-hour periods, which ends up being 15 days for me. I will escape lockdown on the 15th of December. So a lot of people have asked me questions, and this is my attempt to answer them. There are a lot of stories that go with moving overseas and all the rest. I've tried to document those in forever posts on my blog, but this is more just answering details and giving my opinion and impression of things. Firstly, being in quarantine is not oppression. You're locked in a 5-star hotel with food coming 3 times a day, access to a clean shower, which is what I really like, a good shower, and a comfy bed and high-speed internet. So I don't really feel oppressed, but I've also spent 270 days in Seattle lockdown in Washington State in the US, which involved being at home, entertaining myself, working from home, cooking for myself, and just being okay with, being alone. Alone and lonely are not the same thing, but being alone. So this has been not so bad an experience. I have had great care packages from my really good friends. Jim Galindo brought me a phone SIM on my first day or my second day, and Lamingtons and a mango. And then the next day, my parents and my sister sent me mangoes and passion fruit and lychee. So I have had a lot of food. I'm going to get through those mangoes, by the way, all 16 of them. But it has been it's been comfortable. It's a mix of laziness and procrastination. So I've got a lot of things done, moving type of things, changing my address on the electoral roll, making sure all of my American accounts are shut down, stuff like that. Looking at what I'm going to do next once I settle at my parents' place, what hobbies I want to do, what I want to invest my time in. So it's been productive, but not overly productive. And if you know me, that's probably as productive as a normal person, if not more. But it's Jemana calming down and relaxing. So the questions I've been asked are about how this whole quarantine thing works. So firstly, your plane lands and they hand out a bunch of photocopied documents that just tell you what's going to happen, what you should expect when you're going to go into quarantine, and how that's going to work once you're there. But of course you're wondering, and I've read a lot of stuff and I've talked to people who've been through it, but what does that involve between this and quarantine? And what happens is when you land, you're asked to stay seated. And of course, there's always those people who get up and move luggage and get their stuff out of the overhead. And those are people I'll never be friends with in life. But you're asked to sit in your seat, and a member of the police comes onto the plane and tells you that this is what's going to happen. You're going to be escorted out off your plane. You'll go through a health check, which will check your temperature. They'll ask you a few health questions about whether you're experiencing symptoms. And then you'll go through immigration, customs, and then out, and you'll be escorted to a hotel, depending on which group you fit into. Now, those groups are based on whether you're traveling with a group of people or whether you're traveling solo. So, and I think some couples get put into the solo group. I don't quite understand the way they separate that. So they explained it to us. It was cool. We got our stuff. We went out. We were stopped at one point in the airport because we were told that 4 planes had landed at the same time. There were 14 planes coming into Sydney that day, and 4 of them had landed that morning at 9 a.m. on the 1st of December. and we were the second. So the first plane were being escorted through, and because of cross-contamination, they process each plane separately. So until an entire plane is processed, you cannot go on to the next plane. So we were second. A group had been blocked next to us on our left, and we were not allowed to even walk near each other. So we waited, it would have been about 10 minutes max. And then we were escorted to another spot, which was near duty free, which of course wasn't open because there's no shopping open in the airport, international airport. And then we were escorted to the health line. That was when we had to start the really social distancing. And we're standing in a line to get processed to get our temperature taken. I had been wearing compression socks, so my legs were hot, which meant that my body was hot. So you have to test at 36.5 degrees Celsius, or was it 37.5? I think it's 37.5 degrees Celsius to get through. Okay, but I was 37.9. So they were like, take a seat, take your shoes off, cool down under the air conditioning, see if you can cool your body down. So I did. It took about 3 minutes. They measured me again, and I was able to go. So I was the last person processed. There were a couple other people with me, but I had to go and talk about some health stuff. And then I was like, oh, lucky last. And the police who were at the health check and the nurses were like, no, we've got many planes coming in. To give you an idea of how many people were processed, there were 35 passengers on my flight. It was a American Airlines 777-300ER, which holds around, I think, 590 passengers. There were 35 of us, mostly in business class, and 15 crew who had to be processed with us, and that's when I counted. So that is 1 crew member per 3 passengers. So talk about service. Anyway, most of us were in business. A lot of people were first in business. I think there were very few people in economy. So we go through, we get our health check. I went through immigration. They were very Australian and welcomed me home. Went through customs and just got hey, just take the exit. Went through the exit, which had 6 people there. They just looked at my form. One guy looked at my form, said go through. Then I went around the corner, and it was like a bit of a maze through a bunch of barriers. And I didn't get cheese at the end, so this rat failed. And then there were army and police people, or military and police, I should say. And they were like, get on that bus. So, of course, I was traveling solo, so I got into the solo people's bus. So singles bus, you think it's going to be fun, but it's not a party at the end. And there was another bus. So got on there, waited, another person joined who had just come after me. And then they drove us to our hotel. We had police escorts on police motorbikes, and they followed us the whole way. There was a fork in the road. It was like, this goes to the city, this goes to the west. And the bus took the exit to the west, and we were like, uh-oh, we're going to end up in I don't know, Newtown? Don't know, somewhere. Newtown was hopeful. And it went on to the I-5, and we were like, oh gosh, we're going to end up in Canberra, and I had horrible flashbacks. And then we finally did a huge loop around the airport and headed back towards the city. I ended up at the 4 Points by Sheraton, which is it's on the border of Chippendale, Ultimo, near Central Station, which isn't bad. It's a nice hotel. It's clean. It's very much a business hotel. It's not somewhere I'd stay myself, but it's very businessy, and so it's fine. I like it. The rooms are decent size. There's a couch, there's a desk, there's a TV, which I haven't even turned on. It has a lot of lamps. I like lamps. Anyone who knows me knows I like lamps, so the room has won me over. The shower is wonderful, and the bed is comfy. So so I've been here for 6 days. Too much food is coming in. I've started ordering my own food. I think I can eat the cycle of food that's been coming in. They're starting to repeat what we had a couple of days ago. And there's too many carbs. Everything's on bread. There's bread and there's croissants and there's muffins, and I just haven't had this many carbohydrates in so long that I'm kind of craving vegetables and also flavor. But the food is good. Australian food is always good. The produce is good. The food is good. I can't really complain. I just think I'm just a fussy eater, and I like to be done by about 7 o'clock at night. So I've ordered my food, and by the time the other food has come. You can order in anything you want. So I like my Coke Zeros, so got them in. Had a picnic bar, had a pack of salt and vinegar chips. I think that's I'm done for snacks right now. But the worst thing is no exercise. That's been really hard. So I've been doing about 3,000 steps, just walking around my room and running up and down the room and stuff like that. But I also started aerobics, so I'm doing a lot of on the spot kind of standing exercises. I'm sure that I should probably draw my blinds, but I don't really care so much. So everyone's seeing me doing these exercises. There are sheer blinds drawn, by the way. It's not just completely exposed. So yeah, it's been okay. Everyone's been calling me. People have been dropping stuff off to me. It's been good. I miss coffee. I love coffee. Bring me coffee and I will love you. But yeah, I guess it's my first installment of what quarantine is like, and answering the biggest questions I've had, or the most common, I should say, questions I've had, which is what did it take to get from the plane to the hotel, and what it's like to be in the hotel. I don't feel oppressed. I feel as though what I'm doing is contributing to a healthier Australia and Sydney, and I'm not bringing any viruses in if I have any. I passed my first test with flying colours, in that I got a negative, which is a good thing. So no COVID from Seattle, and they'll test us again in about 7 days. Wait, no, I'm wrong, 6 days, to see if we have any plane-based incubation. So yeah, so right now I'm feeling good. I measure my temperature every day with my own thermometer. I'm doing exercise. I'm trying to eat well, and trying to keep myself mentally entertained so that I'm not just sleeping, and I'm only sleeping in Australian hours between about 11 and 7, which is my normal time. Yeah, that's where I am. Feel free to ask me any questions. I will do another video possibly tomorrow or the day after. It all happens on a whim. But yeah, that's where I am. Please reach out to me. I love the contact. I'm all alone in a hotel room. Yeah, I hope that helps somebody who might be going through the process. I'm open to any questions. Bye.